All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, as always, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to our powers. Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha HaKodash, a give a double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that have taught us this truth, that are constantly ruling well through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Shai. A peace, mercy, and blessings to the beloved Akim that are out there pushing his word wholeheartedly in truth and in sincerity. Those that are not wavering to the left nor to the right, but constantly staying on that straight and narrow, fighting for your crowns in these last days that we are truly living. Even shalom to the few sisters, the Akwafs that are out there, and even shalom to the Israelite foreigners, those that may look like the other nations, but their seed line goes back into our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I'm the brother Iraq, coming back with another edition of the Friday Night Lives, which Lord willing, these Friday Night Lives are edifying, all right, to the Lord's elect, okay? All right, and pretty much, I don't really have a topic, but Lord willing, this lesson is edifying to those that do tune in, all right? And I want to start with Ecclesiasticus chapter 18 and verse 20. It says, before judgment, examine thyself, and in the day of visitation, thou shalt find mercy, all right? And we're in the times where we're getting ready to enter into perils, dangers, evils, all right? And before those times come in full effect, all right, the scriptures say what? That we're supposed to set our household in order, all right? That we're supposed to be watching as well as praying, okay? See, the rest of the world right now, as you got a lot going on in prophecy, the average person, they're worrying about their career. These women are still paying X amount of money, $200+ to get their hairs done, nails done. All right, and they're not considering the fact that it's all types of evils around. Like I sent the brother an article. You got 6 million people that couldn't pay their mortgages. All right, so you got people that are well off that are suffering right now. Okay. And a lot more evils is getting ready to take a hold of this place. All right. So as we're the ones that are in the know, let me grab another precept. As we're the ones in the know, all right, we're not supposed to put off acting as if we're in a state of comfortability, acting as if we're in a state of everything is okay. All right, that's not the spirit of being. We're not supposed to be in a complacent spirit, all right, because a lot is going on through the Holy Spirit. Our mind should be preparing for what's getting ready to go down. All right, like we keep preaching about the time of Jacob's trouble, where there's going to be many evils out here. You know what I'm saying? And knowledge and wisdom is going to be the stability of our time. Knowledge and wisdom. All right, the fear of the Lord. Those that ain't got yet, how about Shema Shai in their corner, they're not going to make it. They're not going to be able to withstand within the evil day, because Esau's destroying this economy. Esau is destroying this economy. All right, Esau is destroying this economy. Going back into the banking families. Okay, they're done with America. All right, and they're using Donald Trump, which, like we going to, he's the last Trump. He's doing a great job at alienating the U.S. from certain allies. All right, we know that NATO and the EU are allies to the West. Okay, and then these other sanctions that are going on other major players like China, which is a major player, is getting ready to cause disruptions to this economy. Okay, which is all part of prophecy, So now you got other nations that are like backing off of America. Okay, which America is nothing more than just a import consuming kind of nation, So we should be watching. Like I said, we should be watching. We should be paying attention to what the hell is really going on. All right, let me go right here to Ecclesiastes 7, and I'm sorry, Ecclesiasticus chapter 5, and let's go to verse 7. It says, make no terror to turn to the Lord, and put not off from day to day. For suddenly shall the wrath of the Lord come forth, and in thy security thou shalt be destroyed and perish in the day of vengeance. And this is why we're supposed to be examining ourselves. All right? While majority of the people don't think that everything is wrong, they think that everything is right. You got people that are saying, oh yeah, we're happy that Donald Trump is putting forth the tariffs. He's getting ready to make America back great again. You got people in a false hope, in a false delusion, you know, because they don't really know what the hell is going on. At the same time, you got people that do know what's going on. You got preppers that are prepping. You got people that are at the gun range facilities training, you know, for shit hit the fan type of scenarios. Because shit getting ready to hit the fan. You know what I'm saying? Shit is getting ready to hit the fan. All right? So they're training. But you got majority of the people in that spirit of comfort, complacency. Oh, you know what? You know, we've been hearing about these things, that, this, that, and the third. It'll come back. No. All right? Because through the spirit, we could see something like the Great Depression hit back in the 30s. You know, like the 30s. You know, we could see the Great Depression hit. Okay? All right? And that's part of the elite's plan, is to what? Do away with the dollar. You know what I'm saying? I think, what was it, Venezuela, a couple other places where their dollar collapsed, and they had wheelbarrows of cash that they were bringing just to buy bread. It didn't matter. It didn't mean shit. You know? And they could barely get anything. So you know what that brought forth? It brought forth violence. You had individuals that had children. Their children became malnourished because they couldn't eat. You know? All right, and when you have them type of situations, all right, that causes famine. Okay? You know? It causes the love of many to turn on each other, wax cold. People beginning to have psychotic behavior because there's nothing to eat, there's nothing to drink. You know, and certain people live on certain islands, and they experience certain of these situations. They run out of food on the island. You know? So what do they resort to? They resort to cannibalism. Well, that's something that's in the scriptures, cannibalism. All right, matter of fact, let me grab something like that. All right, let me grab something like that, okay? Let me grab something like that. Hold on. Let's go to the book of Jeremiah. All right, because the Lord done this before. The Lord done this before. Let's go to Jeremiah. Let me calm down. Just relax. Let me see. Where am I? Oh, okay, that's where I'm at. All right. Jeremiah chapter 19. Let me get straight to the point. Jeremiah 19. And matter of fact, you know what? Let me start at the top. Let's read into this. Jeremiah 19:1. It says, thus saith the Lord, go and get a potter's earthen bottle, and take of the ancients of the people and of the ancients of the priests, and go forth unto the valley of the sons of Hinnom, which is by the entry of the east gate, and proclaim there the words that I shall tell thee, and say, hear ye the word of the Lord, O King of Judah, and inhabitants of Jerusalem. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the power of Israel. Behold, I will bring evils upon this place, in which whosoever heareth his ears shall tingle. You know? Because when you hear these things, it should make you feel some type of way. All right? It should make you want to figure out how the hell you going to get out of this type of destruction or judgment. You know? But like I did a lesson going into the book of, I want to say Ezekiel, the 12th chapter. Majority of people think that the visions are vain, that they're not going to happen. You got Jake that are scoffing, that are mocking, saying, well, you know, my grandfather used to read that Bible. Or you got people that were once in the truth. They say, oh, I used to read that when I was, you know, back teaching the word in the 80s, or, you know what I'm saying? The 90s, you know? and they didn't did a hiatus and went back to the world because they didn't have faith. They don't even believe. All right, they didn't have the fear of the Lord on them, you know. But as for us that are in the know, we can see the scriptures say the prudent man foreseeth the evil and he hideth himself. All right. Well, the place that we hide ourselves is in a secret place. You know what I'm saying? The secret place is the scriptures. The secret place is Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, the strong tower. All right. Let me read on. It says, verse 4, because they have forsaken me and have exchanged this place and have burned incense in it unto other gods, whom neither, it says, whom neither they nor their fathers have known, nor the king of Judah, and have filled this place with the blood of innocents. They have built also high places of Baal, to burn their sons with fire for burnt offerings unto Baal, which I commended not, nor speak it, neither came it into my mind. Right? And if you think about it, all right, a lot was what was going on back in the ancient world is what's going on today. All right, one of the hands-off protests which was going worldwide throughout, not worldwide, I'm sorry, going throughout the states of the U.S. A part of that was the abortion movement. You know, all right, you got people protesting about the Me Too movement, my body, my choice movement. You know what I'm saying? Which is something wicked because, you know, as a woman, you're not supposed to be out here sleeping with every Dick, Tom, and Harry. Okay? And then you having all these babies, but then you don't want to take responsibility for the child because why? You want to still live like a hoe out in the streets, 304, you know? So you got the option to go to the abortion clinic and murder the baby that's inside of you. It doesn't matter how old the fetus is, what trimester term or whatever, you know. There's life in that fetus because why? The Lord put a spirit there, you know. A spirit is a life, okay. But but that was going on in ancient times where they were sacrificing children unto the idol god Molech, okay, in the valley of Hinnom, you know. So the abortion clinic is the symbol of worshiping the idol god Molech in these times. It's just a modern day thing, you know, Planned Parenthood and things of that nature. All right. And then you got these other guys that Jake worship. The main one, focal point, which would be Serapis Christos, Cesare Borgia. You know what I'm saying? Which would be one of the main guys that they worship. All right. Which in terms is that when you worship these different gods, you commit idolatry, and that's a term of you forsaking the living power, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Okay. It says, verse 19. I'm sorry. Verse 6. It says, therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, and this place shall no more be called Tophet, nor the valley of the sons of Hinnom, but the valley of slaughter. All right. And so that's what the Lord is getting ready to turn America into. The Lord's getting ready to turn America into the valley of slaughter. All right. And it's going to be done via the way these Edomites. Because they're going to be the ones that's going to come down the inhabitants with great wrath. Revelations 12:12. For they know that they have but a short time. All right. They want blood. You know. All right, it's going to be bad out here. It's getting ready to be bad out here. You know what I'm saying? That's why we, as the hopeful members of the elect, we hoping. You know, we praying. We preparing ourselves as much as we can through the Spirit. You know, but we know that the scriptures say that the elect shall endure unto the very end, because the elect are going to be saved. The elect are going to make it. All right. That's why we're going through the straight gate. We're catching the hell, all right, so that way we can get built up. It doesn't feel good to catch hell. It doesn't feel good to go through what we go through, but there's a purpose behind it, you know? All right. Let me go back. Salakia. Let me go back. All right, this is Jeremiah 19. Jeremiah 19 and 7. It says, and I will make void the counsel of Judah and Jerusalem in this place, and I will cause them to fall by the sword before their enemies, and by the hands of them that seek their lives. And their carcasses will I give to be meat for the fowls of the heaven, and for the beasts of the earth. And I will make the city desolate, and in hissing, everyone that passeth thereby shall be astonished and hiss, because of all the plagues thereof. All right. And you know, like I said, I did a lesson the other day. You had a top member of who that made a statement that tomorrow there could be another plan, you know what, and this is going to be a critical one. All right. So they got major events getting ready to take place. And the Lord said that there was going to be what? The sword, pestilence, famine. You know, these are all part of what the Lord is going to bring to this place for judgment. Then the Lord said what? Beast, teeth of wild beast. All right. Like you had an individual out in LA. You got an individual out in LA that got ate by his dogs. You know, imagine that. You're a dog breeder. You got love for dogs. You know, that's the thing that Jake does. You know, Jake loves dogs. You know what I'm saying? But then the Lord put the spirit on your animals to eat you. You know what I'm saying? And dogs will tear your ass up, man. You know, dogs will tear your ass up. All right. They got teeth. They got teeth which is meant to devour. All right. The Lord gonna have animals, wild animals out here, animals that you would see in Africa, because you got animals like that in these zoos. You know, all right. You got gorillas, you got apes, deers, antelopes, pandas. You know what I'm saying? Lions, tigers, bears. You know, you got all that, and they show you that on that movie. What was that with Dr. Neville? That was Will Smith's character. You know what I'm saying? I forget what the movie is called, but you see how pretty much everybody got off the island of New York, and they had that everybody that got plagued turned into some type of zombie or whatnot. You know, yeah. But you had nobody cleaning the streets. You had nobody tilling the ground. You had nobody cleaning up, you know what I'm saying, the bushes that grow extra big. You know what I'm saying? So it's everything started to come back. Like if you leave things untreated, everything started to come back and grow in its normal estate. So you had lions that were in the cities of New York. You know? So you're gonna have beasts out here like that. That's gonna be part of what the Lord is gonna bring out here. Part of his judgments. Okay, let me read that again, right? It says, give me a second. Let's go to verse 7. It says, and I will make void the counsel of Judah and Jerusalem in its place, and I will cause them to fall by the sword before their enemies, and by the hands of them that seek their lives, and their carcasses will I give to be meat for the fowls of the heaven and for the beasts of the earth. All right. So you got movies like The Road, you know what I'm saying, where you had a band of people that were hungry, searching, looking for other individuals to conquer. You know, they were looking to conquer them because they wanted to snatch them up, to treat them as like food, you know. So you're gonna have people that's gonna be out here getting they head beat over. They're gonna be getting their head beat over, and then they're gonna be getting dragged to some location to where they're gonna wake up with their legs chopped off, limb by limb. They show that in the movie The Road. They stumbled across a house. They had a bunch of people locked up in the basement. All right. And they were cannibalists that lived there, you know? People like, oh, missing arms, help. And they were preserving them. You know, that's how bad it got. You know, they don't make these movies just for entertainment purposes, but this is part of the, you could say, the nastiness of the Lord. You know, the evil side of the Lord. All right, because the Most High does have an evil side. You know, the scriptures say that, in a sense, the Most High is not evil, but he does push evil in the earth, bad things to happen. All right, because that's all evil means. It's just bad times. All right, the scriptures say that what the Most High creates good and he creates evil. He creates light and he creates darkness. He allows all these things to take place. All right, the other nations knew when the Most High showed his power back in the time of Egypt. The other nations called the Most High Allah Shaddai. All right, which is a like a demon-like power. Okay, that's what type of energy is getting ready to be shown in the earth. So let me keep reading. Right, it says, and I will make this city desolate and in hissing, and everyone that passes thereby shall be astonished and hissed because of all the plagues thereof. And I will cause them to eat the flesh of their sons and the flesh of their daughters, and they shall eat every one the flesh of his friend, in the siege and straitness wherewith their enemies, and they that seek their lives shall straiten them. You know, so people are going to eat their friends. Back in the time of Assyria, when Israel got besieged in, they were selling dove doodoo, a donkey's head for high prices. I want to say what, eight coins of silver, you know. And then you had the king that said to the woman, well, how can I help you if the Most High ain't helping us? Pretty much, roughly paraphrasing, you know, because they ran out of all the storage. You know, they might have had a good harvest that season, but then, or the previous season, and he stored it up, and then next thing you know, they got hit with an army coming against them. All right, so nobody could go in, nobody could go out. Okay, and then they had to eat on the supply of what they had stored up from the previous season. So, you know, when it come down to these stores, that's the first thing people are going to do when they start thinking about what they don't have, you know, because you got people in this mindset. Let me say it like this: you got people in this mindset, right? That, you know, for social media, they want to stunt. You know, you got Jake with a stupid ass mindset. They'll rather go buy $1,000 pair of sneakers, some a nice belt to show off, belt buckle, some nice gear, but then they ain't got no fucking food in the house, which doesn't make any sense, you know. So you got majority of people that think like that, and they gonna be the ones that gonna look at their fridge like, damn, I ain't got no food. So they gonna be the first ones that's gonna be, when they hear about people panicking and need supplies, they gonna be the first ones trying to go run to these stores to go look for help, or to get what they can for themselves, you know. And that's when people gonna be getting trodden underfoot, and then eventually these stores are gonna run out. You know, you ain't gonna find nothing in these stores because people are gonna scavenge them. You know what I'm saying? All right. And when the food runs out, because people gonna look to their neighbors. It said eating on their friends. That means that you got neighbors that are watching your everyday movement. You got neighbors that are looking in your driveway. You got neighbors that are looking in your garage. You got neighbors that are watching what you have. You know? So if they see that you got abundance, they're gonna be plotting on you. Ah shit, we go get what Tim got. We know Sue and Tim, they're stocked to the brim. You know, because people like to talk and they like to run their mouth and they like to tell their business on everything. You know? So you're gonna have people that are gonna band together. Oh yeah, we can overpower them, we can tie Tim up, we can tie Sue up, and we can take what they got. Then they're gonna run out of supplies, run out with whatever they got there. And they're gonna look at you for food. Boy, Lord got a lot of crazy judgments that's getting ready to take place out here. All right. The wadi how by Shema was shot that the Lord got us really relying on him in these last days. Okay, let me go to another precept. Let's go to the book of Job, chapter 5. Okay, and let's go to verse Job chapter 5. Let's start at verse 17. It says, behold, happy is the man who the Most High corrected. It says, therefore despise not thou the chastening of the Almighty. It says, Shalakia, the chastening of the Almighty, for he maketh sore and bindeth up, he woundeth and his hands make whole. It says, he shall deliver thee in 6 troubles, yea, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee. All right, so when it comes time that the Lord is going to bring forth evils out here, all right, the Lord made this as a promise unto us. He said he'll deliver us in 6 troubles. He said, in the 7th there shall no evil touch us. You know? So for us that believe on Yahweh by Shema Shai, while everybody else is moving in one direction, we're not going to move like the herd. Okay? We're gonna buckle down and we're gonna pray and beg the Lord for our next meal and what's the next move. You know? Alright? We're going to counsel with Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai. And then the Lord is going to guide us to what we need. And this is going to be through spiritual signs. You know? That the Lord's going to give us during that time. He could send a dog to come and guide you to where there is food, clean water to drink. You know? Matter of fact, in this chapter it goes into how the beast shall be in league with thee. You know? You might see other people might see a big ass lion walking past their door like some Jumanji shit and get ready to eat their ass. But we might see a big ass lion, and at first your flesh be like, oh shit, you know, but then the lion, you know, and he rubs his head on you. He just rubs his head on you like you know how like cats do. You know how a cat will come to you, they'll rub their whole body on you to let you know that, you know, they want you to pet them or something. The Lord could send a lion like that. And then you'll know in your mind, like, okay, hey, Dwadi out by Shema Shai, and the lion wants you to follow it. You know? And wherever the lion leads you, that was the spirit of the Lord, where the Lord wanted you to go for a place of refuge, for a place of a maybe just a temporary safe haven. And that lion did his job. The lion went to go do some judgment. You know, eat some people up or some shit. All right. Hey, Lord, hey, when it comes down to Yahweh Shema Shai, he's far out. You know, when it comes down to the Lord, there's endless possibilities, so to speak. Job 5 and verse 20 says, in famine he shall redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword. All right. So, you know, with lockdowns, you got all control of access from city to city. So that'll mean that there will be no transportation. There won't be no driving from state to state, city to city. These things will be locked down. You know, like how they show you in that movie Civil War, how they were just going across the different states and they were just filming and they was just seeing all the violence and what was taking place. That's not going to be a reality. You ain't going to be traveling from state to state, you know what I'm saying, and shit like that. If you stuck in the city, you're going to be stuck in the city. You know? The scriptures speak about if you make it to the hilltops, the mountains, you're pretty much going to be stuck in them. You're going to be watching the buildings and the cities burn from up on top, you know? But even then, those that are off grid, living into the mountains and things of that nature, if they're not protected by Yahweh Shema Shai, they're not going to make it, you know? All right, because truth be told, nowhere on the shores of America is going to be safe. Job 5 and 20 again, it says, "In famine he shall redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword." So it's going to be martial law, lockdowns, curfews. Your constitutional rights is going to be suspended. You know, they show you that in movies. All right, and they show you in movies where you got certain countries that infiltrate America, like China, like Russia. All right, we believe through the spirit that there's sleeper cells here, you know, that came in through the border during the Biden and Kamala Harris term, you know, which was all done, which was all orchestrated. You know, you got in the news right now, they talking about, hey, it could be that there was drones out there in New Jersey, which not all those that was flying in the sky were drones. You know, those were, it was a mixture of chariots, the so-called UFOs, and then you did have drones as well. But they were saying that the FAA was saying they were not regulated U.S. drones, that they could have been drones from different countries. All right, and whatever they got going on, they probably setting up for an EMP attack, because they don't need a nuke to fly all the way into the sky and for them to detonate it to cause an EMP to fall over America to make everything go dark, you know. And they got smaller devices to make that major impact, you know, or they can make a major cyber ransomware, because you got that going on, you know, cyberware, businesses being hacked, targeted, you know. Information and data being lost, okay, or controlled through others, you know, that tapped into the system, you know. So it's a lot that could happen, you know what I'm saying? But however it is done, is ultimately going to bring in the time of Jacob's trouble, you know. Like Apostle Tahar said, when Jacob's trouble comes in, you know that the MOTB is going to be right there, because what Esau going to do, primary action solution, he going to come with the method to, you know, yeah, we know things is bad, they're going to broadcast, we got safe havens, we got this, that, and the third, but what you need is a chip inside your body, you know, all right? And most people, they gonna be like the Walking Dead, like how they had the, I want to say the spot was called the Sanctuary. It was called the Sanctuary. And at the Sanctuary, they were hearing the broadcast. It's peaceful here. It's this, that. It's good. And they actually made it to the Sanctuary. It was a long journey, but they made it to the Sanctuary. And when they got there, at the front layer of it looked like, oh yeah, we could live here. And that was to entice them in. But then when they found out what was really going on, it was fucking, they were the new crop of food for the people that were already there. So instead of you being the next meal, you just gonna be the next chipped, you know? All right, the next chipped. All right, because that's how Esau get down. Job 5 and 20, "In famine he shall redeem thee from the death, and in war from the power of the sword. Thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue, neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh. At destruction and famine thou shalt laugh, neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth. For thou shalt be in league with the stones of the field, and the beasts of the field shall be at peace with thee." All right, so hey, however the Lord does it, he gonna make the beasts of the earth be at peace with us, you know. So that's the blessing of Yahweh Shema Shai. The beasts of the earth gonna be at peace with us. All right. So you know that right there could be a sign that the Lord used. Hey, angels, you know, Psalms the 91st chapter. Those that trust in his names. He said that the angels will not allow you to dash thy foot against a stone. You know what I'm saying? Alright? They shall uphold you. Those that fear the names of the Lord, the angels encamp about them and are safe. You know? They got you secured. Alright? The Lord can make an angel manifest. Alright? Because that's what we banking on. When it comes down to Yahweh Shema Shai, we banking on the Lord to do miracles, wonders. You know? Alright? What Jake don't believe in, we do. We believe in it wholeheartedly. Alright? Hey, like the scriptures say, you know not what God we serve, but we know what God we serve, you know? Alright? We very well understand the powers of Yahweh Shema Shai. We very well understand the fear of the Lord. You see? Let's grab another precept though. Let's go to Lamentation, because the Lord got me talking about famine and cannibalism. Okay? You know? The gruesomeness of the scriptures. The gruesomeness of the scriptures. Alright? Let me see. Shoot, man. Alright, yeah, Lamentations. Let me see. Was it Lamentations 4? Yeah, this is Lamentations chapter 4, verse 9. It says, and they that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger. You know, because see, you got a thing where your body starts to eat on its fat, works on the muscles, and then starts eating on your internal organs. You know, because of starving. You know, it's lacking nutrients. So when you pining away like that, that's a very critical and serious thing to go through. You know, so it'll be better for you to take a straight bullet to the head. You know, that's something they show you on that movie The Road too. You know, I gotta go back and watch it. I ain't watched it in a minute, but that's a real good movie. I just put myself back in the mindset of, you know, how bad things is going to be. You know, sometimes you gotta remind yourself, you gotta remind yourself to watch them movies, them end time prophecy movies. You know, you gotta put yourself in that mode. You know what I'm saying? Alright? You can't trust nobody. You gotta be to yourself. You know what I'm saying? You know, cause you never know what can happen or who could set you up. And then like the father in the movie, if he was to ever get snatched up and his son was to be like left alone, he wouldn't want his son to go through the tortures of what people would do. You know? Because people are gonna turn into beasts. People are gonna turn into animals during that time. Everybody for themselves, like they say in the world, it's a dog-eat-dog world. You know? Alright? Love of many waxing cold. Friends turn on each other for the lack of food. 2 Ezra 15th chapter, which Lord I'm gonna grab. Okay? So he told his son, if something happens, take the gun, put the bullet in the chamber or spin to the right chamber, and then put the gun in your mouth and point it directly up. So that way it goes straight to the brain and it kills you instantly. Hey, it just came to my mind, but you know, Yahweh Shema Shai is crucial, because certain people that have try to commit suicide and kill themselves, they ain't always die. You know, that try to shoot themselves that type of way, they end up surviving. So that's hell. So the Lord can, you could think you were getting ready to try to commit suicide, and the Lord can prolong your life to make you suffer longer. Sheesh. You know? That's crucial. Alright? But let me keep reading, right? It says, for these pine away, stricken through the want of the fruits of the field, the hands of the pitiful woman have sodden their own children. All these females out here that are paying $200 for their nails, getting their eyelashes done, got these baby kids, you know what I'm saying? All right, these little monsters, these little gremlins, well, they gonna be thinking about sodomy their children. They gonna be thinking about boiling them. They ain't gonna give a damn about them eyelashes or them nails. When there ain't no food, you know. See, right now, big shall so good be cheap upon the earth that they shall think themselves to be in a good case. But wait till things get worse, because right now you got women right now that are you know, trying to call up their ex that used to take care of them. He paid all the bills, but you know he ended up so-called cheating, which a man can't cheat, you know, unless he messing with a man that has a woman, his woman. You know, that's really called adultery. But if a man has a woman and then he goes and sleeps with another woman that's single, that's not cheating. You know, that's in a man's nature. But a woman will leave you for that. Even though you was paying the bills and all that, and then now since the society getting bad, now they want to try to, you know, find your number or find you on social media and try to hit you up. Hey, I miss you. Do you miss me? And no, bitch, I don't miss you. You know, I'm not even thinking about you. I moved on. You fucked up. All right. You should have stuck with me. You know what I'm saying? Regardless. All right. A lot of you women getting ready to get kicked to the curb because a lot of you are wicked out here. It's so bad that you got dykes that play both sides, right? Which that's wicked. But now they don't even want to deal with you women. You know, because y'all asses are lazy, you're nasty, you don't reciprocate the same energy, and you just won't without giving. You'll take. You know what I'm saying? And then have the nerve to have a goddamn attitude. You know what I'm saying? All right, and a lot of these dykes, all right, they deal with women that got small children, you know? All right. Now a lot of dykes are going back to they going back to heterosexual men. They going back to men, you know, because they don't want to deal with a lot of you women. But a lot of you women getting ready to sodden your children. You're getting ready to boil your child. That's how bad it's going to be out here. You know. Let me read some more. All right. Let me read that again. Matter of fact, Lamentations 4. I'm gonna get out of here because I'm on my lunch break. Lamentations 4, and man, where was I at? Okay, Lamentations 4 and 10. The hands of the pitiful woman have sodden their own children. They were their meat in the destruction of the daughter of my people. The Lord have accomplished his fury. He have poured out his fierce anger and have kindled a fire in Zion and have devoured the foundation thereof. All right. So right now, you know, we're not in our land. All right, we're not in the land of Israel. All right, but Zion being a monument of the Lord, which are the Israelites. All right, you got right here in America 66.6% of the Israelites. All right, which is 2/3, and then you got the 1/3, and then you got the elect. All right, so a large portion of Jake is going to die out here. That's including women. You know, all right. There's more women in the world than there is men. You know, all that flaunting your ass out, titties out, stomach out, you know, legs out, thighs out. Hey, the more pretty you are, the prouder you got here. That's gonna become a curse to a lot of you women out here. You know, you're gonna be the first to be snatched up, begging for help, for hope. Please, you gonna let this happen to me? Yeah. You know, a lot of shit that's happening in society are preludes when women are calling on men for help, but you didn't dogged all these men out. You know what I'm saying? You didn't put your nose in the air. Niggas ain't shit. You know, you was a bad bitch, independent, do it on your own. You driving a Mercedes Benz. You overlooking the dude in the Honda. Dude was a cool dude, you know, willing to take care. You know what I'm saying? Majority of things for you. He just wants your company. But since he drove a Honda, he wasn't on your level. You dissed him. Well, men are gonna diss you, and then a lot of men out here, when they find out that they got access to you women without repercussions, you're gonna start seeing the true nature of men. You know, all right. When there's lawlessness out here, and 911 is not accessible, there's nobody to call. That's when you're gonna start seeing the true nature of people. You know what I'm saying? People don't really give a fuck. They're grimy. Alright? They're grimy. Okay? That's why you sisters out there that believe in your how about Shema Shai, man. Alright? It's time for you to buckle down too. Get yourself right by your how about Shema Shai. Alright? Because you're not exempt neither. You know, you sisters out there. Alright, so I'm gonna get a couple more precepts. Alright. Let me go to this is a basic level. This is a basic lesson. This is Isaiah chapter 60, 65. And let's start at verse 11. It says, "But ye are they that forsake the Lord, that forget my holy mountain, that prepare a table for that troop, and that furnish the drink offering. That furnish the drink offering. That furnish the drink offering unto that number." It says, "Therefore will I number you to the sword, and ye shall all bow down. Ye shall all bow down to the slaughter, because when I called, ye did not answer. When I spake, ye did not hear, but did evil before mine eyes, and did choose that wherein I delighted not." So that's why the Lord's going to bring all them different types of evils out here, okay? Especially famine, all right? It says, "Therefore thus saith the Lord power, behold, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. Behold, my servant shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart, and shall howl for vexation of spirit." All right, because people going to be calling them, "Adios mios. Oh, Lord, please. Lord God, please. Jesus, help Jehovah. Yahshua." Have all them weak-ass names, you know? And the Lord ain't going to hear you. He rejected you, you know? That's a man, you know? He going to make you feel how he feel, you know? He going to reject you like you rejected him. I don't want to feel that feeling, you know. Hey, even Yahweh Shai, the second in command, you know. The fact that the Heavenly Father didn't answer him when he prayed to not have to drink of that cup, it was likened unto him feeling rejected, you know. And that wasn't a good feeling, you know. So we hoping and praying the Lord answer us. But the Lord ain't gonna answer the majority of you people out here. You tribes out here. All right. So it says, "And ye shall leave your name for a curse unto my chosen, for the Lord power they shall slay thee, and call his servants by another name." That's pretty much it on that. All right. So, you know, Lord said his servants is going to eat. Hey, Lord willing, I'm a servant. Lord willing, you know. I pray that I am, you know. I pray that I am, you know. All right. That's hey, Yahweh Shema Shai is my only hope. You know what I'm saying? It's already bad and hard out here. Everybody's struggling. Everybody going through it right now. You know. All we got is hope in these words. All right. But hey, like the Lord said, matter of fact, I was thinking about it. Let me go to it. Matthew's the 4th chapter. All right, because right now what we should be doing is eating off these words. So I'm gonna get straight to the point. I'm gonna go to Matthew's 4 and 7. It says, "Yahweh Shai said unto him," Matthew's 4 and 4. "But he answered and said, It is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Most High, Yahweh." All right, so hey, these are the words that we should be living, applying to our life, you know. All right, studying, going over, preparing our minds, untangling yourself from this world. All right, resisting the tempter, rebuking the devil. Okay, casting all your cares on Yahweh Shema Shai more than ever. You know, it says, "Then the devil taketh him up into the holy city, and setteth him on a pinnacle of the temple, and said unto him, If thou be the Son of the Most High, cast thyself down, for it is written, He shall give his angels charge concerning thee, and in their hands they shall bear thee up, lest at any time thou dash thy foot against a stone." I quote that from Psalms 91. Right? Yahweh Shai said unto him, "It is written again, thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy power. Again, the devil take him up to an exceeding high mountain and show him all the kingdoms of the world and the glory of them. All right, one of them being America. All right, but guess what? John saw, Yahweh Shai saw the glory of America. Okay, but then there was also an end of America. John, the Revelator, saw the end of America. And we're at the point of the end of America, where Yahweh Shai is getting ready to come and be that stone upon America, which is the revival of Rome. You got articles, is America going down the road of Rome? Yeah, because this is Rome all over, you know? All right? It says, and said unto him, all these things will I give thee if thou wilt fall down and worship me. Then said Yahweh Shai unto him, get thee hence, Satan, for it is written, thou shalt worship the Lord thy power, and him only thou shalt serve. So if you want to be protected from all the dangers and things out here, and you want to be protected from Satan, you got to serve Yahweh by Shema Shai, point blank and period. You know? All right, so with serving the Lord comes, hey, the miracles, the blessings, you know, the mercies, all right, which we all need, because, hey, the times ahead of us are getting ready to be more turbulent. All right, and when you got turbulence, you got things that's going to be shaky. So you got to buckle up. You know, you got to have a very strong foundation, and our foundation is Yahweh B'Shem Shai. You know, all right. So hey, as the scriptures say, be as good soldier, endure hardness unto the very end. Lord willingness was edifying to the Lord's elect, giving all praises and glory to our powers. Yahweh B'Shem Shai, B'Shem Kakadash, Barakatham, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. You know, Thwadi Yahweh B'Shem Shai for this lesson. You know what I'm saying? I do hope and pray that it was edifying to the Lord's elect, man. All right. With that, getting out of here. Shalom, Akim. Shalom, brother. Shalom, shalom. All right. And everything ain't gonna be sweet like candy. Everything gonna be sour and bitter. Shalom, brothers.